So I can end, or I can tell you one more thing. Y'all let me know, because y'all want to get up.
We traveled to get here, girl.
Okay, so I love this. This lecture has never been done before, so I'm going to share it with you guys. The guy say it. This guy's going to let me share his. I'll show it to you. Let me show it to you.
Definitely.
I've got it on here because I'm creating a lecture, so it's not finished yet. So you guys forgive me if.
When you're pulling that, do you mind if I say something?
You can't say anything, no.
You can go ahead and pull that up. One thing that I've heard repetitively is that most of these beings are jealous of us humans. So they like to trick you, confuse you, tease you, harass and berate you. They really can't hurt you as much as a lot of people believe or feel like they can. So it's just a matter of realizing that you actually have more power than them. Because God gave us the experience of zero in the beginning and ending of everything. That's why mankind is so harassed by all these other entities, is because we were favored and we're special to God. So I don't know what y'all believe, but I'm a pretty religious, spiritual person myself. So.
Okay, this young man, he has signed disclosures that it's okay to use his name. So I don't like doing it, but he said it's okay and he wants to. This is a new lecture. I hadn't even finished it, but I'm going to just show you this. This drawing, I love this drawing. It's actually, my new book that I'm almost finished writing, I actually did my own artwork, but it was kind of taken from this. This was so poignant to me. This is what he saw, and so many of my witnesses, they work really hard to recreate, what they see. And that was just really poignant. I love it. It says, though I have to admit sometimes the owl's curiosity scares me. It's so interesting that these things are related to owls. People say I saw owls looking in the window, and we think it's not really owls. It's like a screen memory. But he drew that, and I thought it was really cool. So what happened when he was about 13 years old, he lived on a farm over near Clinton, Tennessee. And he said, Ange, I didn't have a traumatic childhood. I had a great childhood. My daddy died when I was young, and my mama had to work a lot. But we lived on the same farm as my grandparents, so when Mama would work, I'd go stay with Grandma and Granddaddy, and they had very spiritual. They had a little prayer room in their house. And so he said, I know it was a Saturday night because he goes, I'd been playing outside on the farm all day, and I went and got my shower, and I went to Grandmama's house, and she had me a little bedroom, and she had milk crates like that, and I kept all my toys in the milk crates. And so he said, I went and got my shower, went and got my milk crate of the toys, because I'd go in and sit in the floor with Grandma and Granddaddy while they watched TV. And he goes, I was walking, it was a little salt box house. I was walking down the hall, and he looked through the prayer room, and you could see the window, and those aliens there was one at first looking in that window. He goes, Ange, I was frozen. I was completely I just stood there. I didn't know if it froze me or if I was just terrified. Then the two others stuck, can you imagine? Two others stuck their head up there, and looked in the window. This guy was so sincere. He's 20-something now, 28, and I immediately took the team over there. I didn't care. He was just so sincere. So anyway, he said, I stood there frozen, and all of a sudden I broke out of it, and I went running down to Granddaddy, who was watching a Atlanta Braves baseball game. He could remember that. And he said, Granddaddy, there's these things staring in the window. He said his Granddaddy got up, lowered the blinds on the window, and turned the TV up. What does that tell you guys?
They've been there before.
I said, Aaron, he goes, I know what you're going to say. I said, this is the South. All of us are loaded up with weapons. I said, would your Granddaddy have done that? Well, we all got the gun and gone outside to see who was trespassing. He goes, no. Grandma and Granddaddy won't talk about it. So that's a familia thing. It's gone down to the family. These things are either on the property. Okay, so we found a lot of caves, and waterways like you were talking about. This phenomenon is around. So anyway, we didn't care. And he said, Ange, I don't know if I want you to drive up here because nothing much else has happened. I said, we're driving up there. I want to meet you. It'll be a fun day. We'll practice stuff. Well, we found another witness around the same time that was around 16 years old. And I couldn't take a picture because, believe it or not, it's illegal, I think. And we did fly our drone over there. I've got this high-end drone with high-res cameras. Got some great pictures. But it was over at the fossil power plant. And you're not supposed to, because of terrorism, I don't know, you're not supposed to take aerial pictures of power plants. I learned this. So anyway, I didn't put the picture up here because you're really not supposed to. But this little kid had been fishing out on the estuary below that dam because the water's warm and I guess the fish come in there. And can you imagine this? He walked out on this estuary and he turned the corner and he looked up and there were 3 aliens standing there looking like this, and one of them points at him. That kid, he was like 17 years old. His sister said he was crying so hard. He goes, my brother wouldn't cry. He was terrified. So during the same time that was interesting. We had kind of a similar thing. So we get up there with Aaron and we're doing our investigation. We go all over the place. You know, we go over to Oak Ridge and poke around, and we come back, fly our drone because they'd seen some orbs and stuff. And this is where it's important to think outside the box, okay? This is where, make up stuff. I tell my team, make up stuff. If you get curious, make up something, try it. So anyway, Josh, he's got the millimeter that he, outside, you know, the tri-field meter that I told you about? Yeah, we use that outside to measure the magnetic field. And he has a bug detector in his pocket. He turned it on. You know, you have to calibrate it to get it just right. But he's not using it outside. He's just ready to go so when he comes inside. So he's walking around the property. He comes over, we're just getting little meander readings, and all of a sudden he gets up to a tree and he goes, meh, in his pocket. The bug detector goes off from a tree. I said, he goes, Ange, come over here, come over here. I said, what? He goes, come over here. I went over there. The stupid thing kept going off. We recalibrated it, I don't know how many times, and on the big tree, on an area about this far off the ground, looked like the tree had been scarred, kept going on. I said, a tree is a biologic entity. It is not even close to that frequency range, and it shouldn't be giving off a cellular frequency. What is that? So then we found 2 other trees. Like if the house is right here, that tree was back here, triangulated around the house were 2 other trees that gave off cellular frequency around his house. I want to go down there and cut those trees out, you know? So that's the bizarreness, again, you can't make this up. And I'm going to leave y'all with this because I don't want to tire y'all. You need to get up and move. But, so anyway, it's getting late, 11:30, 12 o'clock, we're finishing up. Josh comes in and he goes, Ange, I got another experiment I want to do. I said, go for it. Tell me what you want to do. He goes, this kid had reported that since he was young, he had had nosebleeds out of the right side of his nose. He goes, I'm going to take that bug detector and measure his nose. We never thought to do that before. It's not supposed to even work. So guess what? We did. And guess what happened? We calibrated it on all of us. You know, we experimented on you, and you didn't go off. Put it up to his nose. Ah. We thought, what? Stopped. You know, you repeat it. You know what I mean? You do it a bunch of times. The secret repeats. We did it like 5 times. Went off every time. And guess what happened, guys? You can't make this up. Nobody's ever seen this. Y'all are the first.